government works for a private bank, and the private bank works for its owners, the true masters.
The Federal Reserve is no more federal than Federal Express. I've never seen a full list of ownership for the Fed. I don't think anybody has.
Why did we give a monopoly of creating money out of thin air to a private corporation?
There is no law that requires the average American worker in the private sector to pay a direct, unapportioned tax on their labor and compensation.
The Internal Revenue Code is authorized by the 16th Amendment.
There is no constitutional basis for a tax on the wages of Americans living and working in the 50 states of the Union. Period. End of argument.
Nobody can know what the law is, because the law is what the judges say the law is.
I think it should be clarified. I think government should be transparent to the people.
They're calling us tax cheats. They're calling us fanatics. I don't care what you call me, but I have one question. Where is the law? Show me the law.
All individual income tax revenues are gone before 1 nickel is spent on the services taxpayers expect from government.
You have to get permission from the government from almost everything. And if that is the definition of a police state, that you can't do anything unless the government gives you permission, we're well on our way.
I began to have a frightening thought. What if it was our own government we had to be afraid of?
Can a microscopic tag be implanted in a person's body to track his every movement? There's actual discussion about that. You will rule on that, mark my words.
The power of government has been hijacked so that the rest of us are made slaves.
What happens if your own government is using more force and more coercion on its own citizens for the purpose of achieving its political ends? Is that government engaged in terrorism?
Unfortunately, what is being sold to the American people today as Americanism, if you peel off the label, you find so much similarity to what we were fighting against when we were fighting communism and Nazism and fascism.
This is absolutely Orwellian. I mean, it's talking about Big Brother looking over your shoulder at absolutely everything you do.
Mr. Curtis, are there programs that can be used to secretly fix elections? Yes.
Benito Mussolini had a great quote about fascism. He said that fascism should be called corporatism more properly because it's the perfect merger of power between the corporation and the state. That's how we define fascism. And that's what we're seeing here.
If Americans just learned that the IRS was actually knowingly deceiving them, that would be enough for them to rise up and put a stop to it.
All the power is in the people. And to the extent that government becomes alienated from the people, does things that people don't want, power is transferred until you finally come to a police state, totalitarian state, whatever word you want to give it, where the desires of the people really have no consequence. They go out and they vote. It doesn't make any difference which candidate they elect.
This is something that people eventually, I hope, will get sick and tired of and say, you know, enough is enough.
Thank you, Aaron. I think we're finished.
I'm sorry, Mr. Cohen, you're doing that.
They can't answer, because if they answer, the American people are going to know that this whole thing is a fraud.
It's organized crime. All you do is you call the Republicans the Genoveses, and you call the Democrats the Gambinos.